All right, rock and roll, man. It's the return of ZUDECAST Open World. We're back out here. We're at the Wildlife Entertainment pop-out, the 916 Power In pop-out, man. Super stoked to be here. We're doing interviews with anybody who wants to do interviews. So what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, bro. Thanks for having me on. This is a crazy-ass independent event, dude. I love it. They say it's wildlife, but I don't see any tigers or lions or bears.
Sure there is. Look around, man. Sure there is, man.
I see a few cougars.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could definitely use a little more wild in my life.
Right. Well, my name's Tom Baum. I'm a comedian out of Vegas. I started doing comedy out in Sacramento. If you need some more wild in your life, I'm actually doing a psychedelic comedy show where all the comedians, we dose mushrooms, LSD, Molly, and then we do stand-up comedy. And I don't know when this podcast is going out, but it's going to be September 2nd. Out in Elk Grove at this really dope ranch. It's under the stars, and everybody's going to be tripping, and you know, it's very lawn chair and fire pit.
Yeah. Real backyard vibe.
Yeah, it's real homey vibes, but also psychedelic, and there's a lot of love out there. So it's going to be a super dope event. And if you guys want to come show your art and do a podcast out there, I think it'd be dope for you guys to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know you.
This is sounding a little bit more like a festival almost. You know what
I've done festivals before, but this is just a singular comedy show. I've taken it all over the country, from San Diego to New York to Seattle. I started it in Las Vegas. I do it there monthly.
Sweet.
I've taken it all over the country, and I'm just trying to show Sac some love. Be out here. I just had it in San Jose last night, and that was a good show. So, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Are you based out of Sac right now, you said?
I'm based out of Vegas.
Oh, you're based out of Vegas?
I started doing comedy in Sac, but now I'm in Vegas.
Oh, nice. How long you been doing the psychedelic stand-up show? Like, when did you first get that idea that it was like, fuck, let's do this?
I got it. So it was like I was thinking about it because I started like really getting into psychedelics, and then I tried doing it, on stage a little bit. But I was like, Sacramento's not the place to start a psychedelic show. You know what I mean? It's not like...
Yeah.
So I was like, I went to Vegas, and I just their comedy scene out there was so dope. And I loved it so much. And I was like, Vegas is a place to start a fucking psychedelic show, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Fearing and Loathing.
Yes.
Bit of Benicio del Toro.
No holds barred out there.
Going
you
full
do whatever
Johnny
the
Depp.
fuck you want. Yes.
Hunter S. Thompson.
Very Hunter S. Thompson out there. So, I started doing out there. I made it monthly out there, and then 6 months into COVID, I had the crazy idea of taking it on the road for the first time.
Hey.
Oh my God.
So I did a 5-city tour. I did Phoenix, I did El Paso, and Dallas. And that was all back to back to back. So I don't know if you've ever driven across the country or know how fucking long that takes.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a crazy feat, because I'm like driving 8 to 12 hours a day, and then I'm tripping at night, and then I'm driving for 3 days in a row.
So no sleep.
Yeah.
The sleep is very, it's just like a screensaver, you know?
Yeah. And then the last 2 shows were actually sold out in Chattanooga and Denver.
That's up, man. That's exciting stuff, man.
That sounds like one of those things where it's the consequence of the first day. You know, you do the psychedelics after driving. You think it's going to be fun. You realize you get no sleep. And then the second day sucks. You power through it, and then you got to take psychedelics to even stay awake for the next parts.
Yeah, and it's never that fun driving while you're tripping. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
You can microdose mushrooms and drive. However, I mean, everybody's different. It's not like I'm saying go do this. But acid's a lot more difficult to drive on. It's like you're in one of those video games from the 80s, you know, like Super Nintendo. Yeah, with the hand.
That's all funny. So I was gonna ask too, how do you feel like doing psychedelics affects your comedy? Like, how has it influenced it? Like, what would you say it does for you?
It depends on how much you take, honestly, but I feel a little more free, and I like to see where my mind goes and what I can do with the crowd, and maybe something I had never thought of. Like, I've maybe told a joke, 1,000 times. That's a part of my set. And then I'll go off the cuff, and I'll come up with something in the moment that I then add into my joke later.
Yeah.
So that happens. I don't know. I'm starting to do a lot more riffing and try to do more crowd work and to make the show a lot more personable. Yeah. Because sometimes people like they're gonna go home with that and remember that forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's not, like, you can go up there and tell jokes, but if you could go out into the crowd and find something funny
and engage with them.
Yeah,
make it a one-of-a-kind experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just went to a show at Punchline a while back, too. I was trying to connect with some of the guys out there. Actually got free tickets at my job. It was all funny. These people came in and they were like, hey, we're tourists, so we're not going to be in town. You guys want these comedy tickets we won? So me and my coworker totally came up. And,
right on.
Yeah. And
do you know who you saw?
I remember the main dude who was hosting. His name was Jason Barry. But I know it was...
Robert Barry?
Robert Barry. Yeah, Robert Barry. Yeah. So, well, he was real funny. I can't remember too many names. I'm really bad with names.
Was it just this past, like, a couple Thursdays ago?
It was, like, last Wednesday or some shit like that. Like
I was there.
Week.
The 16th?
Yeah, I think so.
I was there. Yeah.
Funny.
There was, like, the French dude there. He was talking about how the French hood's different than the American hood.
Yeah.
That's so funny. What a small world, man. You see that shit?
Yeah, that's Quentin.
Quentin. Quentin. Yeah.
I just met him out. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. It's a small world after all.
After all, yeah, man.
No, man, dude.
Comedy brings people together, bro.
Dude, definitely
It does.
It really made me happy to see, like, you know, stand-up comedy. It's like nobody was pulling their punches. It was savage in there, you know, like the jokes. No one was tiptoeing around any subject, and it was great. That's what it's all about.
That show was a lot of like newer comics that are getting their shot for the first time on that stage, which is a big deal. So it's very cool for them. And sorry, the sun's right in my eyes.
No, you're good.
That they get to showcase their stuff, so they're like even the women grow balls, you know. They don't care what they're gonna say.
Yeah, no, dude, definitely.
So what led you down the dark path of being a comedian?
Oh man, that's a great question. I've always loved comedy. My parents I remember watching stand up since I was a little kid. And Carlin was like a huge influence. I started the goat, yeah. And I started writing comedy like probably 7 years before I ever went on stage, and then I started working at the Punchline as a door guy.
Okay.
And just being around it, I would be at those shows that you were just at with those new comedians, like, and I'd be like, man, I'm funnier than half these motherfuckers up there. I was like, why aren't I up there? So I finally got a spot on a show. And I had never done an open mic, mind you, or anything like that. And that's usually like the route. You do an open mic and you get good enough till somebody books you at a bigger club.
Yeah.
I had none of that. I just had material written down, like pages and pages of jokes. So I picked out whatever added up to 5 minutes, and every joke hit. And I got like 2 or 3 applause breaks my first set. And I didn't even realize it when it happened, but the guy who's like headlining shows all over the country now, because this was like 7-8 years ago. Damn. I go back in the green room and he's like, bro, he's like, good set. He's like, you got like 2 or 3 applause breaks. And I was like, oh, really? Like now getting an applause break, you notice that shit immediately.
No, I bet, yeah.
But I was like, oh shit, yeah. And then I told him that both the guy who booked me and him at the same time, they were right there. And I was like, yeah, it was my first time doing comedy. They're like, your first time? He's like, you've never done an open mic? I was like, no. And even the booker was like, I didn't know that.
He's like, man,
so that was my needle, man. That was my heroin.
Though, man. Yeah, it seems like such a very like pure medium almost, you know. It's just like a man and a mic, you know. It's just you up there, you gotta knock them dead. And so
and you're being judged immediately by a room full of people who know nothing about you.
It's intense, man.
It's very
awesome.
intense.
That's why I got hell respect for everybody who does it, you know. It takes a lot of guts.
You gotta figure out a room, you know what I mean? Because you might be getting pocket laughs here and there, but you want everybody on the same page. So
I haven't done a ton of stand-up stuff like that, but I imagine I would like the fact that you get judged instantly, because you can kind of use it to your advantage, you know.
Totally. You could be self-depreciating. There's a lot of different things you could do to combat that.
The whole first impressions sort of thing.
Right. Or you could go up there and eat a dick and bomb hella bad. It's not always flowers and roses, bro.
Have you actually seen a big difference, you know, performing the same set in different locations as to people's reception?
Yeah, and that's as a comedian, that's what you want to do, because that's, I started in SAC, and I was like, there's only so high or so far you could get to SAC before you have to go to the Bay anyway.
Yeah.
And start having to like suck their nuts.
Yeah.
Because it's very political, you know what I mean? It's not as easy as people, I'm just going to go do jokes and be in the club. No, motherfucker.
Well, everywhere is different. Everywhere's got a sense of humor, you know?
Yeah. So I was like, let me just move to Vegas because there's so many more opportunities, and I could do independent shit like this event we're at right here, and I'd have vendors, and I'd, you know what I mean, do comedy and have psychedelics and all the things.
Tell us a fearing and loathing story. Tell us a wild shenanigans. If there's a monkey involved, please tell that story. If you have any stories with monkeys involved, if not, it's okay.
I won't give you too many details, but or say any names. But one time after one of my psychedelic shows, I macrodosed myself, which is the opposite of microdose.
It's going on the hero's journey there.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a god dose of LSD, and I took. I was already on 2 tabs of my acid, which are clean, you know, gel tabs. I know what the fuck they are. Mm-hmm. Then some people from Sacramento that I knew were coming up to do the show. A couple of them, but like they all caravan down there, and then. A guy I had never met, he started doing comedy after me, but he came down to the show. He gives me a tab of acid, and he's like, be careful with that. That's like you know, everybody's like telling me it's crazy, and they're like telling me to maybe take a quarter, and I just fucking put the whole thing on my tongue right there after being on 2 tabs of acid. Yeah, and I went to Saturn. I had renal failure. I lost my vision for like an hour and a half. Sheesh. I punched a friend. who's actually a named comedian, but nobody. I didn't know that nobody didn't like him for so long because he moved to my scene, and then like he was chill for a long time, so everybody was cool. Like maybe he's cool now, and then I socked him right in the face. And I was like, "You all right, motherfucker?" And he was like, "Yeah." and even though I did it like I was still a guy, so I don't want you to think. He said, like,
No. So shit gets tense out there in the scene, huh?
Yeah, shit's crazy. I thought like my shit could have been done. I was thinking because of how high he was, but since everybody hated him for so long, low key, they were like, "Oh, finally somebody got that motherfucker," you know? I was just a vessel.
It was karma, bro. God was acting through you, bro.
It was a lot of karma coming through my fist.
You were the avatar of the Holy Spirit, bro.
Yeah. The universe, you know what I mean? I've been told I'm a psychedelic ambassador by people.
What's your spirituality looking like since you're into psychedelics too? You got any?
It could be better. I'm gonna be honest. But the super blue full moon is on Wednesday, and I plan on cleaning my crystals. Oh yeah, and you know, a
little magic,
little. There's butthole sunning, right? You guys have heard of butthole sunning?
Yeah. Our good friend Coco was talking about butthole sunning.
I'm saying you got to put a full moon on a full moon, dog. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna be out on the patio, dude, just soaking up those moon vibes.
Yeah, man.
Don't look too deeply into the void type of situation.
Yeah, bro. You need to get like a chain of Adel beads, and each one's a phase of the moon, you know, and so you could just get that all the time.
You let me know how that goes.
Does that just create like an infinite reflection of moons?
It could be. If you have the mirror set up at a certain angle.
Right.
A mirrored moon.
There you go. Well, shit. Hey, God. That hit about 10 minutes, right? A little over 10 minutes.
Right
too,
on.
But
I appreciate you guys having me. Follow me on Instagram at Tomalongadingdong. 87, just the way it sounds. TOMALONGADINGDONG.
Hell yeah, man.
87 for obvious reasons. You guys, I was born in 1987.
Well, hey, man.
I've also got a huge dick. Yeah. With the crew.
Oh, God, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. You get hella bitches with that hair or what? I feel like you do.
I stay at home.
You stay at home?
He's a good friar.
I'm a good boy.
No, I appreciate you guys having me, man. I hope you guys can come out and just even if you don't sell your art, I think you should. But just come check out the show.
To, man. I'm glad you.
September 2nd.
September 2nd.
Saturday, psychedelic
right?
show. Yeah.
All right.
And tickets are
right
here. I'll go put it in the camera. Thank you guys, man. I'm gonna get up out of here.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest of the event. I hope you guys find some more guests.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you so much again for coming up. You're first in line, so
pop goes the cherry.
There you go. All right,
sweet.
bro, dude.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.